Alright fans, welcome back to the second half of tonight's RWL Snarl. I'm Don Hickson, and I'm joined by Myron Schimmelman and Christy Ogilvie. And we are in the midst of our intermission right about now, and this intermission is set to be something very special.
It would have to be. We got two general managers hanging out with us.
Hey man, that's my girlfriend's about to be stepping out there in a minute. Hi folks, Hangman Tex Lynch here. And Liberty Belle Danielle Heathcote is celebrating 2 years with RWL, and she's going to be out here in a moment. She has requested that I be here, that Rage General Manager Steve Groves be here too, so we're all sitting up here waiting in the booth to see what happens.
She wanted all of us here, so it's got to be important, right? I'm kind of interested to see what Danielle's got to say for herself.
I have no idea, but I'm sure she's in a great mood celebrating 2 years with the company.
She is amazing that way, not allowing her mood to be ruined, and she has had a rough week, a rough couple of weeks. The loss of the Women's Tag Team Championships by American Powers to Power and Beauty, the discovery that Mercedes Moné is behind the future endeavor. It has definitely been a very rough week for Liberty Belle Danielle Heathcote, who is looking to celebrate her 2 years just a little bit tonight.
And it's kind of hard to be in a celebratory mood when you're surrounded by like 6 cops.
Yeah, but you said they gotta be there because of the sectarians threatening Danielle the way they have.
Well, take a gander at this. What a display for Liberty Belle Danielle Heathcote, the RWL Dual Ladies Champion, still the Snarl Women's Champion, and still the Joyce Grable Memorial Champion. And she hasn't let the loss of the tag team titles bother her all that much. Of course, she was frustrated for a while, but she has focused her attention on making some changes.
She really has had a rough few weeks, so who knows what she's really going to say. I'm hot to find out, though.
Well, Miss Ogilvie, we do not have very long to wait now, do we?
Well, I've come on out here for a couple of reasons, so this one may take a little extra time, but both GMs are in the booth right now, and have allowed me this time to talk about a few things. First, and most important, want to thank all the RWL fans for making these 2 years with RWL some of the best I've ever enjoyed. Yeah, it can be rough sometimes, and while I've made a few enemies, I've made even more friends. As for the Women's World Tag titles, Pats and I have already congratulated Power and Beauty on their win. And after all, Patty and I still hold the titles apiece, so we're not really doing all that badly, right? Now, let's talk about the future. The future endeavor, that is. I thought at the end of the War Games match at Labor Day Slamathon that Pats, Dione, Jeannie Parker and I had at least temporarily cured our WL of its infection. But Dakota and her bunch were only symptoms of a bigger disease. A much more serious and malignant disease, which only seems to affect me whenever our WL travels outside the USA. Let's turn out attention to the Tron screens for a minute, so you can see this disease, up close and personal.
Well, she said disease. You know exactly what kind of disease she's talking about, right? Year, another War Games, but another win for Team RWL. And everybody's taking their big victory hug. But what the? Oh, shut up.
Mercedes Moné.
She's the one. She is the one that's behind the future endeavor. We've been hearing about it. It's got to be her.
Obviously. Well, look at everybody. They can't believe it. Mercedes Moné, the CEO 8 Belts Moné, one of the most obnoxious lady wrestlers on the planet, clearly behind the future, and I just don't believe it.
Nor do I.
I'm not really surprised, but what can I tell you?
Yep, I leave the USA to wrestle in Japan this spring. Moné gets into it with our gals, and got roasted for it. I come to the UK, and here she is again, this time, backing the future endeavor, trying to use them as puppets, to do what Moné couldn't. Cowardly approach. But what can you expect from a coward?
Loved by some, tolerated by others, and seen as cringe by most. Mercedes Moné, with her 9 championship belts, including the Japan 5-Star Women's Championship, which she took from Manami Toyota over the summer. And that's why I shouldn't give these birds creative control, Reg. They'll walk all over you, like Tony Khan. Well, it has been argued that Toni Storm does have the best female wrestler gimmick in the industry today. Yeah, well, you've got to do something these days to get yourself noticed, haven't you? And Toni Storm certainly done that. Otherwise, you're a nobody like Mercedes Moné, uncharismatic and all. Well, the ladies lock up collar and elbow. Toni Storm opens with a clothesline and an immediate pin. But no, not even a one. Toni Storm connects with another clothesline, taking Moné down to the canvas. Moné, not so great is she now? A kick to the midsection from Moné and a standing drop kick that takes Toni Storm down to the mat again. Alright, so maybe she's getting a little bit warmed up, big deal. With Moné against the ropes. Pitches her to the outside between the ropes. And here she comes, rebounds off the rope. Oh, beautiful baseball slide. Taking Moné down to the outside as the referee initiates the counter. Hard whip to the ropes for Moné, and a nice Hurricane Runner from Toni Storm. Mercedes Moné counters with a kick, and a clothesline, followed up with a second, and a beautiful drop kick from Mercedes Moné. Nothing beautiful about Mercedes Moné. It's ugly. Very, very ugly. Catches a kick to the midsection, sidesteps her again, and oh wow, look at this. There it is. Nice series of butt bumps to the face from Mercedes Moné. Might improve her looks. Oh Frank, honestly. Mercedes Moné counters with a shot. Nice suplex. Up over the shoulders goes Mercedes Moné. Oh, crashing neckbreaker. Here's a cover from Toni Storm. 1, 2. Got no idea. She's an idiot. Besides everything else. Toni Storm counters Moné. They lock up. They tussle again. Moné shoves her back again. Toni Storm counters with a forearm and a clothesline. Followed up with a series of stomps to the face. Toni Storm, perhaps sensing the end might be near here. A kick to the midsection. Sets up the underhook. Nice powerbomb. Sit-out powerbomb. 1, 2. And again, another near fall as Moné finds her way out of trouble once again. Moné counters with a shot. And another that spins Toni Storm around, drives both knees into the back, and here it is. The bank statement. Toni Storm in the center of the ring with no place to go. The referee check. She is tapping out. That is it. Mercedes Moné has won this match. You know, I didn't even pay 10p to be here and I want my money back.
That's enough of that. You only won by pure luck. Toni Storm's definitely a better wrestler than you are, with only one belt that matters. And that's the one she took from you.
Nuh-uh, them's fighting words. They sure are. And look who's coming down to fight. Mercedes Moné, Little Miss 9 Belts Moné. Everybody hates her, I don't understand. She's so full of herself and nobody likes her.
Why do you think she's not signed with us? We don't need locker room cancer hanging around. Hell, it's a shame we have to keep running into Moné whenever we travel abroad.
Well, it became very personal the last time these two got together.
This is why we're here, Steve.
You again. You got a lot of nerve showing that video of my match. A match that I won, by the way. You RWL gals can't stand me because you all want to be me. Especially you, Heathcote. You talk a lot of trash about me, but you just lost the women's tag titles. I think that was you.
Yeah, but at least I'm big enough to admit I competed against someone who was better than me that night, something you'd die before admitting. I'm nothing like you, and I don't need creative control or 9 belts to validate my otherwise unjustifiable existence in this business. You should have 9 stripper poles instead of belts. But while it is kind of fun roasting your incompetence, that's not why I'm here. Why don't you put that Japan 5-star title against the Snarl Women's Championship and let me prove that Mercedes Moné is the Angel Reese of pro wrestling?
I don't need to. That's why I got the future endeavored on my side. Besides, You'd just be even more embarrassed after I took that Snarl Women's title from you. Just like I took the Japan 5-star Women's title from Monami Toyota. Then you'd probably crash out and quit altogether. I'd be doing pro wrestling a favor by getting rid of you, but I'm too important for dealing with you.
Lame excuses are for insecure losers. You won't accept because you're afraid to lose that belt, to be embarrassed, and to be seen as the yellow banana back biznatch that you are. Monet.
Uh-oh, now she has gone and done it.
Oh, you have no idea. This is going to get real unpleasant. Oh, my goodness, I was afraid something like this might happen.
Mercedes Monet, tired of the satirical bars being thrown at her by Liberty Bell Danielle, and she is absolutely gone berserk on the women's dual champion. Monet, smashing the head of Danielle. Wait a second, Danielle Heathco turning it around while Monet smashes her head into the buckle. And the crowd here has gone absolutely loco.
Oh, man, here we go. She's in the... Oh, look at this. Danielle trying to choke out Mercedes Monet with her boot. Monet quickly up out of the corner, Danielle gets her back in the corner again, and right back to it. Trying to choke the life out of Mercedes Monet. She sure is. And I think she did it, too. Oh, look at this. There's an alley-oop out of the corner and a powerbomb, and Monet is gone.
Unquestionably, Liberty Bell Danielle Heathcote making her case for a championship dual title match with Mercedes Monet. We'll be right back with more right after this.
Oh, people. That last segment wasn't the end of the heat between Mercedes Monet and Liberty Bell Danielle, who got into it a second time after they had gone backstage.
It's Monet's fault. She wouldn't leave it alone.
The two had to be separated. Monet has been ejected from the building, and Tex Lynch has taken Danielle back to the hotel for the night. Steve Groves, before you go, what's the word on these two? Will there be a double title match between Danielle and Mercedes?
I prefer to see this match not happen, because to do it will mean having to pull a few strings with Shiro Torihata over at Japan 5-star. But at this point, and after 2 unsanctioned brawls in one night between them, we may have no choice but to make those calls and make this deal. Although again, I wish that wasn't necessary.
Their relationship status is complicated.
And while that might be true, Myron, we'll have to turn our attention back to the next match. A tag team matchup involving the Hungarian Hurricane, Tibor Belescu, the Greek Hustler, Harry Alexandros, joining forces for the first time against the United Kingdom's Niles Wickheiser and Ballarat Jack Jones.
Belescu to the rescue!
This next tag team match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first, accompanied by light heavyweight champion Sir Reggie Smythe at a combined weight of 462 pounds, representing Team Euro, the team of Tibor Belescu and Ari Alexandros.
While the three of them competed together on Snarl, tonight it's going to be just Belescu and Ari Alexandros going up against the United Kingdom.
This one's gonna prove interesting. Sir Reggie Smythe, with absolutely zero love for Niles Wickheiser or Ballarat Jack Jones, and he stated he's supremely confident that the team of Belescu and Ari Alexandros can take the United Kingdom down.
They were terrific as a trio, so there's no reason to think that the powerhouse Belescu and the technical skills of the Greek Hustler couldn't pick up the win in this match. Even if Niles Wickheiser and Ballarat Jack Jones have kinda semi. Home field advantage with the handful of fans that actually like the United Kingdoms.
Both of them. I sincerely doubt there are more than 2, Myron.
Okay, so maybe there's 6 in the entire building.
You are just so wrong sometimes, Myron. But it's what we love about you.
Oh, that's sweet.
their opponents at a combined weight of 485 pounds, the team of Niles Wickheiser and Ballarat Jack Jones, the United Kingdoms.
The United Kingdoms, Niles Wickheiser and Ballarat Jack Jones, and Ballarat Jack is still very heated about his loss to Billy Whitemoon in his match for the Mid-South Championship. So he is arriving in a very bad mood, and Niles Wickheiser is practically always in a bad mood.
It's funny, too, how they changed their minds. Initially, when I offered them this match, they balked at it. They didn't want it. But then all of a sudden, Ballarat Jack looks over at Niles and changes his mind about it, and now here we are.
Did they give you any reason why they changed their minds?
Absolutely not. They just decided they were going to go for it all of a sudden. Well, we'll see what happens.
Really would have disappointed those 6 fans if they hadn't signed for this match. Huh, Myron?
All half dozen of them.
Well, it is going to be the Hungarian Hurricane Tibor Belescu and Niles Wickheiser starting off in this tag team matchup. Referee Charles Lacera sounds the bell. They come center ring. Wickheiser off the middle rope with a flying punch to Tibor Belescu. Belescu gathered up by Wickheiser again. Niles whips him to the UK corner. Wickheiser yanking on the arm against the ropes on the Hungarian Hurricane. Belescu again draped over the rope, a kick to the calf from Niles Wickheiser. Niles spins him around with a hard right, goes into a sleeper hold, almost at once, fairly close to the ropes though, but Belescu countering with a jawbreaker, getting himself free. The Hungarian Hurricane whips Wickheiser to the Team Euro corner. The Hungarian Hurricane smashes his head into the turnbuckle. Niles Wickheiser getting a little bit of what he just gave out to Tibor Belescu. Belescu definitely paying it back with interest on Niles Wickheiser. There's a kick to the ribs and another. The Hungarian Hurricane takes down Niles Wickheiser. There's a stomp to the chest. And now Belescu with a face wash to Niles Wickheiser, rebounds off the ropes, and there's another. And Niles Wickheiser rolls out towards center ring. Belescu up on the middle rope, getting some support from the Liverpool fans, and here comes Ballarat Jack Jones, who catches a running kick from Belescu, who turns his attention back to Niles Wickheiser, delivers a series of kicks to the head, and then a running kick to Belescu, the Hungarian Hurricane. A one-man army here. Ballarat Jack with Belescu up over the shoulder, head first into the turnbuckle, goes the Hungarian Hurricane. Belescu catches a series of kicks to the head from Ballarat Jack. Jones rounds up Belescu, whips him to the UK's corner, a clothesline, and an elbow to the face, and out rolls Tibor Belescu. The Hungarian Hurricane looking for an exit here, and he finds it. Here comes the Greek hustler, Ari Alexandros. Alexandros locks up with Ballarat Jack, has him up over the shoulders. Oh, look at this, an airplane spin. A move we don't see all too often anymore. And down goes Ballarat Jack. The Greek hustler rounds up Ballarat Jack, whips him to his team's corner. Here's a tag to Belescu, and here comes a double team from Team Euro. A whip to the ropes for Ballarat Jack, and a back body drop as Sir Reggie Smythe looks on. Here comes Niles Wickheiser on the tag. Both men miss with their running kicks. Wickheiser with Belescu up over the shoulder. There's a spinning punch and a quick cover from Wickheiser. One, but only just the one. Tibor Belescu back up on his feet, gets a hold of Niles Wickheiser. Wickheiser with the upper hand, driving knees into the midsection of the Hungarian Hurricane. Belescu catches another wicked series of kicks to the head, and I do believe he just got busted open. There's the stomp to the shoulder from Wickheiser. Wickheiser raining left hands on the head of the Hungarian Hurricane. It seems as if the United Kingdoms don't appreciate being embarrassed by Tibor Bolescu, who spins him around and goes into a sleeper, busted open and bleeding and everything. But Wickhauser counters with a jawbreaker, and Tibor Bolescu is hurt. A spinning back fist from Niles Wickhauser. Wickhauser with a close one. Oh my, Tibor Bolescu is definitely busted up here. Here's a cover one, but again, only a one. The resilience of the Hungarian Hurricane. Wickhauser whips Bolescu to the UK's corner. There's a kick to the ribs. Another kick to the ribs, and Niles Wickhauser matching Tibor Bolescu move for move practically. Here's a face wash to Tibor Bolescu. Bolescu rounded up again. Niles Wickhauser whips him to the UK's corner. Here comes Ballarat Jack, and here comes a double team. An assisted flying shoulder takes Bolescu down to the canvas. Tibor Bolescu catches a couple of knees to the leg from Ballarat Jack. Ballarat Jack Jones rounds up Bolescu again, and once more to the opposing team's corner. Ballarat Jack setting up here. Oh, another kick to the leg to Tibor Bolescu, and another face wash, this time from Ballarat Jack. A rebound off the ropes, and off. Tibor Bolescu in big time trouble here. Ballarat Jack misses with the diving knee. Bolescu with a wrist clutch kick to the face, and now raining mounted lefts on the head of Ballarat Jack. Ballarat Jack Jones struggling to get to a standing position. Bolescu delivers a wicked strength kick to the back. Here comes the Greek hustler, Ari Alexandros. A knee to the head from Ballarat Jack. The Greek hustler catches another kick and another stomp. Ballarat Jack Jones with a series of wrist clutch kicks to the side of the head of Ari Alexandros. Alexandros turns it around, a series of mounted punches to the head of Ballarat Jack. And there's a kick to the leg. Ari Alexandros gathers up Ballarat Jack Jones, whips him to the Team Euro corner. And the Greek hustler going to take this one all by himself, all the way up on the middle rope, and reverse dragon sleeper, trying to choke the life out of Ballarat Jack Jones. Here's a quick cover and a hook of the leg. One, but Niles Wickhauser right there to break up the pin before even the count of one. The Greek hustler rallying the fans in Liverpool for some support here as he rounds up Ballarat Jack Jones. Jones goes up over the shoulders in a fireman's carry. Alexandros deposits him head first against the turnbuckle. And what's the Greek hustler up to here? Ari Alexandros rounded up by Ballarat Jack, whipped to the UK's corner. And Ballarat Jack Jones off the middle rope, a flying kick right to the head of Ari Alexandros as Niles Wickhauser comes in on the tag and takes over for his team. The Greek hustler rounded up, a wrist clutch kick to the face. Wickhauser covers. 1, 2. But no, Ari Alexandros powering out of the pin and desperately making his way to his corner. Here comes the Hungarian Hurricane, Tibor Bolescu. Bolescu with a running kick takes Niles Wickhauser down. Locks up Wickhauser again. Whips him out over the top rope and onto the floor on the outside as the referee starts the count. Bolescu turns Wickhauser over. And there's a series of stomps to the back of the neck. Bolescu with more mounted left punches to Niles Wickhauser. There's a stomp to the midsection as Bolescu rolls himself back in. The referee continuing the count on Niles Wickhauser as Bolescu goes after Ballarat Jack Jones. A series of 10-count punches to the chest. Niles Wickhauser back on his feet, but still not back in the ring. And out to the floor goes Ballarat Jack Jones as Niles Wickhauser comes back in. Locks up Bolescu. Hard whip to the ropes. Here's a duck under from Wickhauser. A leapfrog. And here comes Bolescu. Hard shot to the midsection from Niles Wickhauser. Wickhauser whips him to the far right corner. Here's a clothesline. Down goes Bolescu. Another fast cover from Wickhauser. 1, 2. Again. Only a near fall. Bolescu still in there punching, and Niles Wickheiser displaying quite a bit of confidence here as Sir Reggie Smythe looks on quite alarmed as Bolescu continues to take abuse from both Niles Wickheiser and Ballarat Jack Jones. There was just a moonsault from Wickheiser. Wickheiser rounds Bolescu up, whips him to the UK's corner, rounds him up, hangs him up into the tree of woe. This is not going to be good for Bolescu. There's a kick to the ribs and a series of knees right to the lower abdomen of the Hungarian Hurricane, who collapses out of the corner. Wickheiser gathers him up again, up over the shoulders into the fireman's carry. Where's this going to go? There's a discus punch to Bolescu, who is already battered, bruised, and bleeding. Wickheiser winds up the arm. There's a kick right to the face of Bolescu. Here's another cover. 1, 2. Again, Bolescu still not willing to give up. He powered out of that pin. Niles Wickheiser walks up Bolescu, whips him to the UK's corner. Here comes Ballarat Jack Jones. Another double team in the offing here. A back body drop to the Hungarian Hurricane as Ballarat Jack assumes control here. A series of wrist clutch stomps to the chest of Tibor Bolescu, and I don't think I've ever seen the Hungarian Hurricane so manhandled before. Ballarat Jack Jones absolutely fired up. Tibor Bolescu struggling to get to a standing position, delivers a desperation shot to the midsection. Here's a kick, here's a right, here's a chop across the chest. Ballarat Jack puts on the brakes, delivers a kick to the midsection. Bolescu whipped to the ropes, tries for the belly to belly, but Bolescu counters and battles back again. Gets a hold of Ballarat Jack Jones. Jones counters with some elbows to the midsection. Both Sir Reggie and Ari Alexandros looking very concerned. Bolescu whipped to the UK's corner again as Ballarat Jack continues to torture the arms of Tibor Bolescu against the rope. A series of kicks to the ribs and a kick to the face. Down goes Tibor Bolescu. There's a stomp to the midsection and a series of hard kicks from Ballarat Jack, leading all of his weight into Bolescu's chest, up off the... Oh, my. Knees right to the midsection, right to the chest of Tibor Bolescu. Bolescu in big trouble here. Here's a cover. 1, 2. I don't believe it. Tibor Bolescu absolutely refusing to give up the ship here. Ballarat Jack with another whip into the UK's corner for Bolescu. Drapes the leg over the rope and again torturing the arms and legs of the Hungarian Hurricane. A series of forearms and a spinning punt. Oh, Tibor Bolescu is out. Oh, this is bad. Ballarat Jack rounds up Bolescu again, whips him back into the corner. Here's a tag to Niles Wickheiser, and this could be the beginning of the end for Tibor Bolescu. Oh no, they're going to nail him with a spike pile driver. Oh, Tibor Bolescu has got to be out. Here's a cover, here's a hook of the leg, and here's an illegal pin. The referee caught it and said, oh no you don't. Niles Wickheiser whipped to the ropes by Bolescu. Bolescu ducks under, makes the leapfrog. Beautiful flying punch. Tibor Bolescu tags in Ari Alexandros rather wisely. Ari moves in on Niles Wickheiser, winds up the leg in a position that Mother Nature just never intended. Ari Alexandros follows that up with a stomp to Wickheiser, misses with the rolling elbow. Wickheiser quickly back up on his feet, gets a hold of Ari Alexandros with the upper hand. There's a snap suplex as Tibor Bolescu is brought back in on the tag. Bolescu bleeding from his eyes. There's a moonsault to Niles Wickheiser. Wickheiser rounded up by the Hungarian Hurricane, whipped to the ropes. Bolescu misses with the spear. Wickheiser gets a hold of him, whips him back into the UK's corner one more time. Wickheiser off the middle rope, flying kick to Bolescu, and down he goes. Tibor Bolescu certainly can't put up with much more of this abuse. Wickheiser on the top rope, waiting for Bolescu to stand up. And here it goes, a flying kick right to the face. Bolescu rounded up again. This is a brutal assault on the Hungarian Hurricane by the United Kingdoms. Niles Wickheiser, again, off the middle rope, another flying kick to the head of Tibor Bolescu. Bolescu struggling to stand, but it's no use. Wickheiser with a series of kicks to the head. And he's charging again. Goes for the cover quickly. 1, 2, 3, and mercifully, this one is over with the United Kingdom picking up the win.
The time was 12 minutes and 58 seconds. Your winners, the United Kingdoms.
Coming up next, a Legends Division battle not to be missed as the modern-day Maharaja Jinder Mahal returns, all set to face Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, in one-on-one competition.
The next match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, from the Punjab in India, weighing 234 pounds, the modern-day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal has not been in hiding for the last month. He took a loss to Tony Dangerous and took a couple of weeks off. This week, he's back and he's ready to face Davey Boy Smith in one-on-one action.
Well, the modern-day Maharaja may have lost to Tony Dangerous last month, but his win-loss record boasts more wins than losses, and Davey Boy Smith may very well have his hands full this evening.
This ought to be a really good one, Myron. Two very strong, very solid competitors in this match. Me? I wouldn't dare try to call the winner. But in this one, I'd love to see Davey Boy pick up this win.
And with almost no doubt, I'm sure this Liverpool crowd sides with you, Christy.
Should be a good, even match. They've both got a solid chance of winning this one.
His opponent from Manchester, England, weighing 280 pounds, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog.
Well, another match, another version of Rule Britannia. So far, we've heard 3 of them during this run here in the UK. Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, receiving a warm welcome from the fans here in Liverpool as he prepares to go one-on-one against the modern-day Maharaja.
I can't help myself, guys. I've always had a thing for Davey Boy Smith. Can't put my finger on exactly what it is about him, but I'd love to.
I see what you did there, Christy. Boy, you got a nasty mind.
Only for special occasions, Myron.
Well, Christy, with that level of enthusiasm, I'm surprised you haven't tried to interview Davey Boy Smith.
Oh, I don't think I'd be able to hold a microphone steady for long enough.
Oh, Christy, it sounds like you certainly got it bad for the British Bulldog. Well, it's not been too often that we've gotten to see Davey Boy Smith in action, but here he is going up against Jinder Mahal this evening. Referee Charles Lucera sounds the bell. They come center ring. They lock it up, collar and elbow. Jinder Mahal whip to the far left corner. Davey Boy Smith with a clothesline takes Mahal down to the mat. A big thumbs up from the British Bulldog. Mahal back up on his feet. A running kick takes Davey Boy Smith down to the canvas. A hard right and another kick from Jinder Mahal. And down goes the British Bulldog. A hard kick to the back from Jinder. The modern-day Maharaja whips Davey Boy back into the corner. There's another clothesline, taking Davey Boy Smith to the mat again. Jinder Mahal stamping the hands and fingers of Davey Boy Smith, and he is in pain. The modern-day Maharaja twisting the head and neck of Davey Boy Smith, but Davey Boy back up on one knee, delivers a shot to the midsection. Disengages Jinder Mahal, has him up in a front cradle, walks him over to the corner, slams his back into the buckle and turns him out center ring. Davey Boy Smith Going to work on a down Jinder Mahal. A knee right to the head from Davey Boy Smith. Smith steps out of the ring. Goes around on the outside, makes a beeline for Jinder Mahal, locks him up. Mahal with a kick. Sets up Davey Boy for the power bomb. And slams him into the lip of the apron. Oh! And swings him into the side of the ring as well. Jinder Mahal gets a hold of Davey Boy, rolls him back inside the ring. Mahal catches a chop from Davey Boy, winds up the arm. There's a Russian leg sweep from the British Bulldog. Jinder Mahal rounded up by Davey Boy. There's a headbutt from Davey Boy Smith, and here's a cover with a hook of the leg. 1, 2, but just a 2. A near fall. A rolling elbow across the back from Davey Boy Smith, who rebounds off the ropes, drops the leg on Jinder Mahal. Mahal struggling to get to his feet, a clubbing overhand right from the British Bulldog. Davey Boy catches a series of elbows from Mahal. Jinder Mahal with a couple of shots. Spins him around a double axe handle across the back to Davey Boy Smith. The modern day Maharaja makes it to the opposing corner. Davey Boy Smith is stuck. Jinder Mahal charges, but Davey Boy puts out both boots and backs him off. Up over the shoulders goes Jinder Mahal, hung up on the top rope. Davey Boy Smith stalking the modern day Maharaja. Gets a hold of him for a bear hug, but Jinder Mahal prefers to not go a series of hard shots. Makes the argument most effectively. Another series of shots backs Davey Boy Smith towards the corner. And he is in trouble. Jinder Mahal really starting to open up here. Couple of wrist clutch elbows to the side of the head of the British Bulldog, and down he goes. The modern day Maharaja. Jinder Mahal takes himself up to the middle rope, dives and double axe handle across the head of Davey Boy Smith. Here's another cover. 1. Only just a 1 this time. The modern day Maharaja drives a knee into the chest of Davey Boy Smith. And the momentum has definitely shifted towards Jinder Mahal. Again, Mahal twisting the head and neck of Davey Boy Smith. Slams his head down to the canvas. Follows that up with a stomp. Warms it up. There's a kick to the chest to Davey Boy Smith. The modern day Maharaja countered by the British Bulldog, followed up with a clothesline. Swings and misses, does Jinder. There's a back body drop from the British Bulldog. Mahal moves in and right into a spine buster from Davey Boy Smith. And the momentum looks like it might be shifting here. A spinning neckbreaker from Davey Boy Smith. Jinder Mahal on the apron. Davey Boy hangs him up off the top rope and out onto the floor he goes. And here comes Davey Boy in hot pursuit. Gets a hold of the modern day Maharaja. Another spinning neckbreaker on the outside as referee Charles Lucero starts the count. Davey Boy Smith gathers up Jinder Mahal. Pitches him towards the camera. Whoa, that was close. Another beautiful running leg drop from the British Bulldog. Davey Boy moves back in on Jinder Mahal. Gets a hold of him. Has him by the neck, escorts him back towards the ring, gets him back in there. And here comes Davey Boy right after him. A clubbing right from the British Bulldog. Jinder Mahal counters with a shot to the midsection. Gets a hold of him, takes him down with a drop toe hold. And into the camel clutch. This could be the end right here for Davey Boy Smith. Mahal releasing the hold. Follows that up with a series of rights to the side of the head of the British Bulldog. Follows that up with a stomp. Jinder Mahal regaining control of the match, at least for the present time. Mahal all the way up on the top turnbuckle. Awaiting Davey Boy Smith to reach a standing position. And here he goes, double axe handle, finds the mark right across the head of Davey Boy Smith. Jinder Mahal stalking Davey Boy again. Gets a hold of him from behind. Here it is. The callus, that's the end right there. It's got to be. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. And indeed, this one is over. Jinder Mahal picking up the win over the British Bulldog by pinfall.
The time was exactly 6 minutes, and your winner, Jinder Mahal.
Well, all right, there you have it. The modern-day Maharaja making rather short work of the British Bulldog Davy Boy Smith. Christie, I am sorry.
Fine, Don. It would have been nice, sure, but it was just a blast seeing Davy Boy in action. A win would have made it that much better, though.
We'll be right back with more Rage right after this break. All right, in our main event tonight, the Legends TV Tag Championships on the line as Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot defend the titles from Dr. D. David Schultz and Dr. Death Steve Williams, the Doctors. Schultz and Williams, the Doctors, with an appetite to regain the Legends Television Tag Team titles away from Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot, who relieved Jerry the King Lawler and Harley Race of the titles several months ago.
It's taken them a while to get back there, but they finally made it to #1 contendership, and they can't wait to get in there with the Sarge and the Patriot. Can they win? I think they could. I mean, they was former champions before, so why not? But Sarge and the Patriot haven't let go of those titles since they got them.
If anyone could pull it off, it would be former Legends TV Tag Champions. I'm favoring Sarge and the Patriot, but wouldn't be surprised to see Schultz and Williams pull off a small miracle.
And here are the current reigning Legends Television Tag Team Champions Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot, and they have definitely been very stalwart as far as hanging on to those titles go. They rematched with Lawler and Harley Race and retained. Now they're going to have to face Schultz and Williams and try and do the same thing.
This one's going to be very tight, Don. Both of these teams are very, very in sync. They work very well together. They're both very efficient. It's going to be a hard call. I mean, I don't want to see an upset. I'd love to see the Sarge and the Patriot hang on to the belts. But Schultz and Williams, it's still a possibility.
Tonight's Rage main event is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit, and it is for the RWL Legends Television Tag Championships. The challengers, at a combined weight of 535 pounds, Dr. D. David Schultz and Dr. Death Steve Williams, the Doctors. Their opponents, at a combined weight of 540 pounds, the RWL Legends Television Tag Team Champions, Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot.
In this main event tag team title match, it looks like it's going to be Dr. D. David Schultz and Sergeant Slaughter starting this one off. As referee Anthony Corallo rings the bell, here we go. Sergeant Slaughter swings and misses. Grapples Schultz. Gets a hold of him. Bending the arm. Schultz counters with a shot. Sarge. Whip to the far right corner. Sarge counters with double boots to the face of Schultz. Takes him quickly down to the canvas. Sergeant Slaughter stepping out and turning it over to the Patriot. The Patriot moves in on Schultz. Gathers him up. Wands up the arm. Schultz counters with a forearm. Both men miss their grapples. The Patriot catches a kick to the midsection and a running clothesline from Dr. D. David Schultz. Schultz steps out and here comes Dr. Death Steve Williams. The Patriot right there waiting for him. Whips him to the ropes. Williams puts on the brakes, delivers a clothesline to the Patriot. The Patriot counters with a kick. And the Patriot wands up the arm. but Schultz right there to break up a possible submission. The Patriot reaches out for Schultz, but changes his mind, goes back after Dr. Death. Steve Williams counters with a shot to the midsection and a standing dropkick, dropping the Patriot to the mat, followed up with a stomp to the arm. Dr. Death Steve Williams rebounds off the ropes, running splash right across the torso of the Patriot. Here comes Dr. D. David Schultz again. The Patriot laid out from that last splash from Steve Williams. The Patriot quickly sweeps the leg on Schultz and beats it out of town, turning it back over to the Sarge. Sergeant Slaughter moves in. Schultz collides with him. Sarge drives a knee into the midsection of David Schultz, and he certainly felt that one. The Patriot comes in on a tag. The Patriot with a shoulder tackle to Schultz. Dr. D back up on his feet. The Patriot goes back to work on the same arm, and here comes Steve Williams, but Dr. D. David Schultz breaks it up himself. Schultz with a clubbing overhand right to the Patriot. Misses with the stomp. The Patriot back up on his feet, misses with the running knee. A shot right to the face of the Patriot from Schultz. Schultz takes himself to the top turnbuckle. The Patriot on the outside. The double X handle connects. Followed up with a stomp as the referee begins to count. David Schultz winds up both arms and snaps the switch, driving pain through both arms of the Patriot. The Patriot driven into the barricade. Schultz drives him in a second time, and Dr. D. David Schultz starts to pull away here as the referee continues to count. Again, this main event is for the Legends TV Tag Titles. The Patriot rolled back inside the ring by Schultz. Dr. D stops to try and get a little love from the fans as Sergeant Slaughter is brought in on the tag by the Patriot. Sarge with a kitchen sink knee to the gut of Dr. D. David Schultz. Sarge gouges the face of Schultz, goes behind, tags him with a right, whips him to the corner. Sergeant Slaughter with a chop across the chest of Schultz. Gets a hold of him and starts driving his head into the turnbuckle over and over again. For a count of 10, down goes Schultz as the Sarge quickly rolls him over and goes for the cover one, but barely just a one. Schultz tries to beat it out of time, but the Sarge right there to stop him. A stomp to the lower abdomen for Schultz. Here comes the Patriot again. Schultz still laid out center ring. Dr. D. David Schultz counters with a kick, takes the Patriot down to the mat, and beats it promptly out of town and turns it over to Dr. Death Steve Williams. Steve Williams catches a kitchen sink knee to the gut from the Patriot. A stomp to the face of Dr. Death. The Patriot with an elbow right to the top of the skull. And Dr. D. David Schultz looking on as Steve Williams takes a battering at the hands of the Patriot. And here comes the Sarge again. Sergeant Slaughter tags him with a shot. Gets a hold of Steve Williams. Escorts him towards the ropes. Sergeant Slaughter countered here. Williams misses with both moves, taken down by the Sarge. Wow, Sergeant Slaughter on fire here. Here's a clubbing overhand right. A stomp to the back to Steve Williams. Williams counters, gets back up on his feet. Tries to make it to his corner. Gets a hold of the Sarge. Belly to back with a helicopter spin from Dr. Death Steve Williams. A slap to the head of the Sarge too, as Dr. D. David Schultz is brought in on the tag. Sergeant Slaughter grapples Schultz, whips him to the ropes. Hip toss from the Sarge. Schultz tags the Sarge with a right, locks him up, whips him to the ropes. They collide with no result. They lock up again. Schultz escorts the Sarge towards the ropes, tags him with a jab to the midsection, takes him down to the mat, and look at this, hung up on the top rope by the throat. Dr. D. David Schultz with a series of knuckles to the temple of the Sarge. The Doctors keenly determined to regain the Legends TV Tag Titles that they lost from the Two Kings months and months ago. Here's a stomp to the midsection. of Sergeant Slaughter. Steve Williams delivers a few shots and turns it back over to Dr. D. David Schultz. Sarge in the corner gets a knee driven into the chest by Schultz. Sarge quickly back into the corner a second time. Schultz gathers him up, slumping double axe handle to the side of the head. The Sarge rolls out to the outside. Makes his way back in, gets a hold of Schultz, and drives his face right into the mat. Sarge goes behind. Schultz resisting as the Sarge tries to bring him to his team's corner, head first into the turnbuckle. Here comes the Patriot on the tag, and here comes a tag kick to the ribs from the Patriot. The Patriot rounds Schultz up. Oh, shoulder breaker. And Schultz is motionless. The Patriot pacing around here, debating what he wants to do, turns it back over to Sergeant Slaughter. Steve Williams looking on as Dr. D. David Schultz gets a heel hook stretch landed on him by the Sarge. Sergeant Slaughter steps out, tags in the Patriot. Schultz makes his way to the corner. Here comes Steve Williams on the tag. The Patriot misses with the shoulder tackle, delivers a kick to the midsection to Steve Williams. Instead, a couple of hard jabs and a drop kick, dropping Williams and sending him to the outside. Steve Williams rounded up over the shoulders by the Patriot and taken down to the canvas again. The Patriot rounds up Steve Williams, escorts him to his team's corner, head first into the turnbuckle goes Steve Williams. Here comes Sergeant Slaughter on the tag. Here comes another double team from the Legends TV Tag Champions. Williams draped over the top rope, a double axe handle across the back from the Sarge. Sergeant Slaughter drives the elbow into the chest of Dr. Death. Sergeant Slaughter with a hard right and a quick cover with a hook of the leg. One, but just a one. Steve Williams displaying some serious resilience here as the Patriot is brought in on the tag. The Patriot catches a hard shot from Steve Williams. Dr. Death with a clothesline deftly steps over, rounds up the Patriot by the wrist and delivers a second. Steps over a third time, and boom, there's a third clothesline. A trifecta as Steve Williams rebounds off the ropes, misses with the running splash, the Patriot rolling out of the way just in time. Steve Williams catches another hard right from the Patriot. The Patriot rounds him up, spins him around with a hard right. Whoa! Trap squeeze, blocking the flow of blood to the brain of Dr. Death, and he is fading fast. And down he goes as the Patriot tags in Sergeant Slaughter. Steve Williams is laid out. Schultz just coming to his senses, and it's looking bad for the doctors right now. Sarge with a series of shots and a driving knee to the head of Steve Williams. Another rolling elbow across the back. A stomp to the midsection. Misses with another rolling elbow. Williams quickly back up here. Charges. Sarge rounds him up. Oh man, what a suplex. Dropping Williams on the back of his head. Sarge covers again. 1, 2, 3, and that is it. Sarge and the Patriot retain the Legends TV Tag Championships by pinfall.
The time was 9 minutes and 36 seconds. Your winners and still Legends TV Tag Champions, Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot.
I'll tell you, it could have gone either way. It very easily, for a while, it could have definitely gone the way of Schultz and Williams. But once they lost the momentum to Sergeant Slaughter, that was it. It was all over. So there you have it. Sergeant the Patriot retaining the Legends TV Tag Championship.
For a while there, it was starting to not look too good for the reigning champs, with Schultz and Williams having been very aggressive. But as you said, Myron, once they lost the momentum, it was for good, and there was just no getting it back. Still and all, a solid win for the Legends TV Tag Champions.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that puts the cap on this week's edition of RWL Rage. As always, we thank all of you for being part of RWL Wrestling and for following the channel. Coming up, our next RWL telecast will be Saturday, September the 13th, when RWL Snarl returns with Wally Cardell, Johnny Bianco, and Hangman Tex Lynch. We'll be back the following Monday We'll see you next time. For all of us here at RWL, this is Don Hickson saying thank you, good night, and see you then.